Welcome to the Arsenal show. We are live. It's the post-match reaction of Arsenal's 2-2 draw against Fulham. Points definitely lost after going 1-0 behind early doors. Foolishly. And once again, Arsenal dropping points from silly mistakes early doors. But they've done well to get back into the game. Super subs of Eddie Nketiah and Fabio Vieira, I thought was absolutely brilliant when he came on. Completely changed the game. But Arsenal's drop off, it's like a flick of the switch. As soon as they got that equaliser, as they got that winning goal, they dropped off, and it allowed Fulham to get back in the game. Again, sloppy passes, which was bound to kick us in the backside once again in this game, led to a corner, which then equalised from Fulham. I'm joined by Steve K. How you doing, Steve?
Yeah, how you doing, mate? How you doing? Everybody in the comments?
And give us your little take on the game.
Perfect words you use, mate. Just sloppy, very, very sloppy. Ridiculous goal to give away. I mean, the first words that sort of uttered from my mouth when that happened was, "When are we going to learn? Are we ever going to learn? To go that extra step?" I mean, we brought players in. At the moment, I think we do have to say the system's not working yet, is it? I feel I got it wrong again. I think he's got it wrong twice on the spin. By picking the wrong players, and I'm one of Arteta's biggest fans. But since the start of the season, it's okay. I'm a fan of playing this new system, but for bit too early in the day for language. But if you're going to play the system, play the right players in the system.
Yeah.
Play the right players in the system. Don't play players who just look like they look like fishes out of water. And what you will get, what you will get. Yes, they wasn't great in certain positions. These players that we'll probably talk about, but it's not their fault. It's Arteta's fault for putting them there. And there'll be Arsenal fans out there tonight, and there'll be Arsenal fans, giving match ratings, and the big ones that can't get a clue, who will slag these players off, right? But forgetting that they're not in the right positions. So it was very, very frustrating, especially with Fulham going down to 10 men. Even up front, there was no punch. We were sloppy in possession up front. Our finishing was awful. It has to be said. That's absolutely awful. Pad-puff shooting. There was a couple of players. I mean, we'll get into it who did okay, but very, very disappointing. And we got Manchester United next. They're right. They're not in great form, but we will need to play a lot better than we have done in these first three games that we've seen this season, because the system that Arteta wants to play at the moment just isn't ticking.
Yeah, it's not working. It's not working. We saw in the first two games that, and we've all said, if we play against better opposition, that we're going to see the weaknesses in those positions where players are being played out of positions. Thomas Partey being one of them. Kai Havertz probably maybe potentially another one. And for me, you don't get as much attacking threat from the likes of Saka and Martinelli, because what you're doing is they've got to do it. It's a lot of one-on-ones with them. There's no overlapping. Like I don't think I saw. You don't see Partey overlapping with Saka like you do when Ben White's in that right back role.
No.
When last season we didn't have overlapping with Zinchenko, you had that option with Ben White. So now you've got two inverted fullbacks. You've got no one overlapping at all. So and people will put up stats about progressive passes towards Saka and say that yeah, but in this game there's been more progressive, more passes to the likes of Saka than any game last season. But they're not the right. You're talking about a pass forward to him. You're not talking about a pass in the right area. You're not talking about different nuances in the game. You're not talking about different aspects to a play where Ben White might have overlapped and stretched the defender, which has pulled him out of position, and then Saka's been able to then make that pass in that was happening last season more key. Nothing's happening because what is happening with these so-called progressive passes where we're getting more to him, he's meeting the defenders one-on-one all the time, and he's having to use his tricks to try and get past them. Yeah, you can do that once, 2, 3 times a game, but you're not going to be able to do it the whole game, because that's when you're talking about a player's had a defender on toast, and no one has a player on toast every single game. If you're doing that, you're talking about Ballon d'Or winners, and Saka ain't there yet. We have to play to our strengths, and right now we haven't got those players that can play in that position. So don't do it. I worry that he's going to continue to do it against the likes of Man United. You can't do that.
You can't.
Bring Gabriel back in.
Do you know what as well? Something I noticed in that game, and we have mentioned before, with saying that playing this system, you can play it against the weaker teams because you're going to have more of the ball, and you can create more chances, and that's the reason for playing with the, the three at the back, the 30 fullbacks, blah 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 blah. But what I'm finding is against Forest, a little bit against Palace as well, and especially today, who you would call those weaker teams, they fancy it. They fancy it.
We made Jordan Ayew.
They're targeting Party.
We made Jordan Ayew look like a Ballon d'Or winner.
Yeah, exactly. But it's not Party's fault. It's not his fault. It really isn't his fault, right? But he can't play there. I thought that, okay, against Man United and the top teams will change system because you can never play them against a winner. But in the top side, we're the weaker teams, we can handle it. But we can't even handle it against the weaker teams. They was targeting that left hand side all the time, and that's your Crystal Palace, your Foresters, and your Fulhams. Yeah. And we was going, and we was nervous about it. We thought, what's Party going to do? So if we're going to be worried against those sides, what are they going to be like against the others?
Yeah,
don't know, mate.
The thing is, and we're talking about Party's part in the game, but the mistakes that have led to the goals have come from sloppy play. They've come from poor passes.
Yeah.
Bukayo Saka in the first minute passes into nowhere. The second goal we conceded, Zinchenko in midfield takes a touch, not the greatest of touches, poor pass, loses the ball, hit on the counter. So again, and we saw it from Odegaard as well, not making the right decisions in the right places. Trying to overplay it, trying to take that extra touch, trying to take that bit of extra time when we could just pass it back and keep it simple and recycle it. Instead, it's not the case. We lose the ball, we hit on the attack. Steve, we're getting to the player ratings now. Dior MMA says Arsenal should never keep Saka. I don't know what you're talking about there, mate. Absolutely crazy. Player ratings we're going to get onto now. Steve, Ramsdale in goal.
Ramsdale didn't do a lot wrong, to be fair to him again. I don't think you can blame him for any of the goals. Fulham didn't really, offer much. Again, sort of like a carbon copy of his performance against Crystal Palace, really. But unfortunately, he let 2 goals in. But like I said, they wasn't his fault. So Aaron Ramsdale wasn't to blame, I don't think, for anything today. So I'll give Ramsdale a 6.
Aaron Ramsdale. Yeah, people will point out that first goal, but like I said, he was caught.
No, it was
way
his
out.
fault.
Didn't anticipate that ball going at the front post when it looked like he was going for a chip. If he meant that, it was a very nice disguised shot from Pereira.
Yeah, he's told to do that, Kieran. That's his new. He's been told to come out further out. So because that's the way Arteta wants him. He wants, for some reason, he wants him to come right out of his goal. I'm still trying to work out in my head why that is. Maybe
it's just to do
as a sweeper. Yeah.
So
you can't blame people who are going to pick out Ramsdale for the fault of that goal. Will be wrong, just to put it simply, will be wrong. It's nothing to do with him.
Yeah. William Saliba, I thought he was sloppy. Very sloppy at points today. Saliba.
Yes, he was sloppy in possession. Didn't have a lot to do, but when he got the ball at his feet, a few times to give the ball away.
Yeah.
5.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I think 5.
Yeah, 5 for William Saliba. I agree. I don't think he was. I don't think he was good today. Wasn't shocking, but like you said, his game is to get the ball. He's calm and composed, finds the man. It's an aggressive pass with the ball, and just the passes that he made were just poor. Like some of them were like just to nowhere. It was just odd. It was just to nowhere. It just didn't look comfortable today. It was just not.
I think they're saying to do with having probably parted, not having Gabriel next to him. Probably got something to do with it. Change the system.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. There was at one point the commentator did say that Saliba looked like he just didn't know who to pass the ball to. There was options there, so I don't know why, but he said he didn't know who to pass the ball to. Ben White.
But I don't remember Ben White doing too much wrong off the top of my head. Obviously, you're watching it on a smaller screen, so you can never get. But I didn't think Ben White did too much wrong. Thought he was pretty okay, pretty solid. Second half, probably we see sort of Ben White that we know because he was trying to bomb up that right hand side. He was. But that's where we used to sort of seeing Ben White, and he was getting forward to try and create that extra man up there. So I'll give Ben a 6 today. I don't think he was he had too much of a bad game.
Again, I agree. A bit like Ramsdale, not a fault in any of the goals, but it's weird to say considering I don't think Ben White long term is a right back. I think he's a centre back long term, and I think he's like a classy centre back long term. But I think we've missed his attributes on that right back position.
Looks like the best of a bad bunch isn't probably the right word because Ben White's was excellent last season in that right back position.
Got to the England squad,
exactly. But what we're saying is we just need that little bit of a higher level to do that. That's all.
I'm just so frustrated. Thomas Partey.
Yeah, I mean, people will pick out that he got caught, but again, that wasn't his fault. Yes, he was caught out of position. But if you're going to blame anybody, blame Bukayo Saka for giving the ball away. We can't keep on protecting our star players. The ones that never seem to get any stick at all. Bukayo Saka was at fault for that goal, and he was to blame for us probably not winning that match. Well, a large part of it for that awful pass. But Thomas Partey, I think he done the best he could. I really thought he done the best he could. for the beginning of the game, I thought that I was looking at his performance and I was thinking, when you're there, we're not getting the best out of Thomas Partey when he's there. It's like a non-player, when he's in that position. It's like you're more worried for him that he's going to get beat, but which isn't his fault because it's not his position. But when he's in midfield, when he's got the ball, he's okay. He's good. He did all right.
Yeah, that's because he's playing. That's because he's moving into. That's what we said the other day. That's what we said in both games. When Thomas Partey moves straight into that defensive midfielder role, the inverted role, he's just Thomas Partey. He looks good.
He is. He's Thomas Partey. He's the one Thomas Partey that we know. He's Thomas Partey that we love. As soon as he slips back into that, he'll start. He might give a dodgy pass away, or he'll try and pass it through the lines, and it'll go to the opposition. And then what frustrated me with Thomas Partey wasn't Thomas Partey today. It was the fact that for large parts of the game, being in that position, it's like having a non-player. Yeah. It's like we're losing something with him playing there. Yeah. And it's a shame. So, but I think he showed that little bit more from. I'm going to give him a 7. Just due to the fact that I don't think he done a lot wrong. He did give the ball away a couple of times, but his control in the middle of the park, I thought was pretty good. So yeah, it's just a 7. Do you know what I mean? It's bordering on a 6, but yeah, I feel sorry for him, so I'm going to give him, because of what Arteta's asking him to do. So I give him a 7.
7 for Thomas Partey. Jakob Kiwior.
I mean, not for me. Not for me. Not for me today. I think a little bit silliness apart. I don't know what Arteta's doing in playing there.
The left back role.
Nah, he looked off to me. Just didn't. To me, he just don't. Again, he's a centre back for me.
He's a centre back. That's why.
And yeah, and that's again. So I feel like I feel. I don't like to sort of. If I'm going on his performance as a left back, it was awful. He offers nothing. He don't give nothing. He don't invert. I never see him inverted into midfield. I never see him being any danger going forward. And for me, it was like a non-performance from him. I just didn't think he offered anything the whole game. I don't remember him making any mistakes of such. But again, it's like with Partey in that right side and Kill. It's like you're starting with 9 men. Yeah. It's not working. It does not work. So we're giving our ratings for Partey and Kiwior, and Partey's thinking, it's a 5, but it's not their fault, or I feel it's not their fault. So yeah, but I've got to give for his performance as left back and 5 out of 10.
Yeah, I don't. Kiwior wasn't good today. I think he said it perfectly when he said he was just a non-entity basically. He was just a body on the pitch. Didn't bring anything to the game, but it's not his fault. He's playing in left back. He's a centre back or left centre in a free, but he was playing. He was having to play that inverted role, and it doesn't make sense to me. You've sent Kieran Tierney out on loan. If you don't fancy him, and you've then put Jakob Kiwior in the position which Tomiyasu took up last week and did okay. Again, like none of it makes sense. The fact that we've got an actual left back there in Kieran Tierney, who, yes, he has his faults, but when he's playing consistently, he puts in a very good performances. Gets assists, can get the odd goal here and there, but he's not that inverted fullback. But Kiwior wasn't inverted today.
He's not inverted fullback either.
There wasn't any inverted fullback from Kiwior today at all. Anyway,
and he doesn't. And what something else I noticed, and it's like, it's two. We have probably got time to go. Probably got more time to go on Tuesday, but really, really annoyed at Arteta for what with this Tierney thing. Really annoyed. I mean, if you want to rant, don't miss Tuesday's show because I'll be going all in on Tuesday. So Tuesday 8 o'clock, people do not miss it.
Definitely
right?
make sure you come and join us Tuesday 8 o'clock. Stevie's going to let off
because I am not happy at all about that. It just makes no sense. But just going back to the game, there was times when Kiro got the ball and instead of like pushing it, going more forward, he's not forward thinking. And he play it just sort of backwards or to the side. And you think, if that was Kieran Tierney, he's not going backwards or to the side. He's hitting a long ball to someone, or he's bombing. He's taking the ball 20 yards up the pitch, with the ball right tight to his feet. Keogh can't do that. But yeah, 5 today for Keogh.
Yeah, it's frustrating because he's a good player. You don't want to get onto him, but he was a centre back playing as a inverted fullback midfielder, so it made no sense to play him today. They
don't. I'll tell you what. One more thing, kid. They don't look like fullbacks, do they? Partey and Keogh. They're too big, too hefty. They're not mobile enough. If that makes sense. I really no.
Yeah, it does make sense. Declan Rice.
Yeah, I thought he was really good today. You can't blame him anything. I thought his passing was excellent. I thought he was winning the ball. I thought he was one of our better players. He doesn't deserve to be on the side that probably drew today. I thought he was good again. As I say, probably he probably don't say much, considering the way the others played. But I felt he was probably, out of the starting 11, he was probably the best player of on the pitch for Arsenal anyway. So yeah, I'm gonna give him a 7. A high 7.
Yeah, I thought Declan Rice done again. There was some really nice cutting balls. He's getting a lot more confident. The balls are less safe now, but they're also getting to their man with a nice bit of pace and nice bit of energy. You're seeing Declan Rice's class, and when Arsenal are ticking on all cylinders, we're going to be frightening. He's going to be frightening, but we're not there yet. It's going to take a few weeks in general anyway to get up to full match fitness and full match sharpness and everyone knowing where they should play and everyone knowing their roles properly. But it's being disjointed and it's being slowed down by this new setup that we're playing and players playing out of position and just all over the place. Declan Rice done well. I thought he done well today. Kai Havertz.
Yeah, it wasn't good today, was it? Well, I mean, we've sort of we've got. I'm not panicking with him like some Arsenal fans are. I mean, but he just nothing was coming off for him today. His passes were loose. That chance that he had, the defender I thought did well to put him off. It was a difficult chance. Could he have scored it? I don't know. I think it was more difficult than what it looked. But yeah, just passing was off and really sloppy passing sometimes. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't like he was trying to play the ball through to the lines and the Fulham player cut it out. It wasn't none of that. It wasn't like you could see what he was doing. Today he just didn't look on it today, I'm afraid.
Yeah, for me, Kai Havertz needs to speed up his whole play in general. I know he's he has a style similar to Mesut Ozil in terms of he looks a bit lethargic in terms of his play. But Mesut Ozil was quick with his passing. If he saw the pass was there. The pass was already there before. It was quick.
Yeah.
His body language may have been a bit slower, and his running style may have been a bit slower, but his passing was quick. Kai Havertz needs to speed up his play and passing. It needs to be tight. It needs to be slick. We've lost Granit Xhaka, whose passing was very good. His left foot was like a wand at times.
Yeah.
So Kai Havertz, bare minimum, has to bring that because he has all the other attributes which are better than Xhaka's. No, he doesn't have the aggressive play, doesn't have the physicality. But if you're talking a technical player, Kai Havertz should be ticking all them boxes with what Xhaka was doing previously. But we're talking about Kai Havertz has got the most aerial duels, the most winning ball retention in reclaiming the ball in the third half. Or we're talking about his defensive style of play, which we weren't talking about. We talk about with Xhaka. So his all-round play just needs to be a lot sharper and a lot quicker.
Yeah, and that goes for the team as well. Once the team's passes are a lot sharper and a lot quicker, and the movements a lot better, then Kai Havertz's game will improve as well. We haven't had the team that we've had out that we've wanted to put out, all season yet. That's not happened. Maybe if we see that for the next 3-4 games with Havertz in it, with Jesus and Zinchenko starting, it'll be a little bit different. But not great stuff. I'm not like one of these Arsenal fans who's going to get on his back. I still think he'll come good. 3 games, but I'm going to give him a 5 today.
It wasn't good. It's not working in that system, and it's not really fair on Kai Havertz he's very much targeted at the moment due to his price tag, and you got to understand a certain aspect of that. But it's just I feel like sometimes he's a bit of a sitting duck, and he just didn't help himself today with some of them sloppy passes. Martin Odegaard.
Yeah, I didn't think he was good. I thought he was. I think he was off it. I can never sort of, put down or sort of have a go at him about his work rate. He always works hard. He always tries, but just things again just wasn't coming off for him today. His shooting was at times a little bit powder puff. He was okay today. He tried, but we need to see more from him. But again, I have to go back to the system again because it's not working. I think that's one of the reasons. But yeah, Martin Odegaard 6.
Yeah, I thought Martin Odegaard was all right in the first half. I thought that overall, in general, because even though we were 1-0 down in that first half, I don't think we played bad. We conceded the first goal, which was poor, but I thought we got into the game. I think you said earlier on, you said powder puff, and that was a lot of what our shots were. Straight down Leno's throat, no real danger. But we were getting in a lot of times. We were getting in those positions. We were making chances, making opportunities. But the thing is, Fulham kept it very tight and they defended really well. Paulinho I thought it was immense throughout. And they just had a really, really, really tight structure. Calvin Bassey was all over everyone like a rash. I knew he was going to get sent off in the end because as soon as he got that yellow card, it was like, just keep putting the pressure on, he's going to get sent off. But it frustrated us in that first half. But I thought, again, with this setup, what I think we're getting with Martin Odegaard is a lot of those games where he's just that guy that's just picking the ball over, trying to create space, getting turns in, looking for options, and there's not really too much happening.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like we're getting with the Martin Odegaard's in this system, because he's a little bit deeper, and he's got to try and take on the extra man to get in those danger areas, which he was getting into last season, which is why he scored so many goals. It's just once again another reason why we've got to completely ditch the system, because all the best players that shone last season we're not getting the best out of them. Bukayo Saka.
Yeah, a little bit similar to Martin Odegaard's game, really. I know he did well and he scored the penalty, but they got us back in the game. But again, his performance was, I'm probably marking him because I know what Saka can do, and if he, sometimes, if you expect more of a player and they don't do it, then you should mark him accordingly. And for me, he just wasn't. He didn't give enough today. You could say Mr. Sitter. I mean, we talked about Eddie and Kenny. Kenny is one that he missed last week. Excuse me, people. That was worse. Right? 100 times worse. And I actually see at half time, right, on Twitter, there was an account asking who was their best player. And half the fan base was saying Bukayo Saka. I don't know what game sometimes these people watch. I think it's just because they like him and we love him. We all love him, but come on. If he's having a nightmare, then you have to say so. And he wasn't good today. He should have scored. Yes, he had the penalty. Yes, he always looks dangerous. But I'm being sort of double critical to Bukayo Saka because I know what to expect from him. I know what he can do. If he couldn't do certain things, then you would probably maybe sort of not be so hard on him. But because we know he can do special stuff, and when you see him like a little bit, you're like, what's going on, mate? Do you know what I mean? We know you can do it. What's your problem today? And that he was a little bit like that today for me. But I'm going to give him 6. He scored the penalty, and as I said, he did look dangerous at times.
6 for Bukayo Saka. Gabriel Martinelli.
I thought I mean, I might split opinions here. I thought he was awful today. I don't remember him doing anything.
It's one of them. I don't remember him doing much. He was running and twisting and turning and doubling back, and his touch was off. And his crosses were poor. But if you took all that away, you still had the work rate for Martinelli. Do you know what I mean? Getting into the right positions, taking his players on. But his final ball, do you know what I mean? He's the bit at the end was absolutely terrible. It was awful. He had one good cross right at the end of the game, But for Vieira, he played in Vieira as well. For the penalty.
Yeah. So again, similar to Saka, I'm being doubly harsh on him because I expect more.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm probably spending so much time going on about him. But go on, mate. Sorry.
No. I actually did a video the other day, and I got a lot of stick for it. Where I said that I don't think Bukayo Saka's world class, because there's a lot of people that saying he's world class, and I'm saying he's not there yet. He will get there. His application, the kind of player he's, his character, his talent, the bar, like what we're seeing year by year. He's learning. He's getting physically. He's getting bigger and turning into a proper man of a player. But he's not there. And these are the kind of games I'm talking about. And it's not me being too harsh, but if you're going to talk about world class, I've got to hold him at world class standards. And that's why I'm saying he's not there. We expect more from them, yes, but we're not getting more from them. And if we look back at last season, honestly, we have to say that in large proportions of some games, they're not in the game, but they make it a goal, they make it the winner, and then you'll go elsewhere and here it's like, Bukayo Saka, this kid, and you're thinking about it, you're like, did I miss that game? Because for about 50 minutes of the game, Saka weren't really in it, and he was quite frustrated by the defender. And then he pulled something out of nowhere, but he kept on going. When I'm talking about world class, think about when Robin was at his peak, and that's what I'm talking about. I'd say Robin because I see Bukayo Saka as an Arjen Robin kind of player.
I thought you said Robin Van Persie then.
No. As like that sort of winger cuts in. You know what he's going to do, but you can't stop him.
Yeah.
When he was playing at his peak, you couldn't stop him, and it was every single game, non-stop. And he would get the goals. He would get the assist. We could have got more assists, but he was too greedy. But you couldn't stop him. And I believe Saka will get to that point where in games you can't stop him. He's unstoppable, and he's getting 2 goals a game. You're talking about best player in the world. That's when he get there, and that's what. But he's not there yet.
Would you compare him to? Would you compare him to Pires? Would you now class like Pires as world class? Is he world class to you? Is he or are they similar? I know they're different. They're not so different for me when I think of the two. They're not.
Who?
Pires. No. Well, they play on them. Yeah, I suppose so. Well, both of them really. It doesn't whatever wing they're on, but does it really? It's the same. I think. I think Pires sort of probably because maybe I watch Pires more, but. He always seemed to be a constant danger. And when he got the ball, you just expect something to happen every time. You know, he's very similar to them.
More like a Jack Grealish. In comparison to the type of player. He's not using his pace to do players, but he can get past players. But he's using his burst of pace and his intelligence to go forward, cut back the players on the floor, see the man, little dinks, slide, little pass in the channels. Like, there's different types of players. But Pires did get to world-class level. And he probably played at that level for like 2 seasons. But
he did,
when you're talking about great players, stuff like he's probably like the step under. But like these players, these two can get there. They're not there yet. It's going to take time. We do expect more from them. But I do believe, once again, I go back to the way we're playing. When you've not got, and we saw it last season, where on the inverted side, your fullback are not stretching the players much. So your forwards, your wingers, have to do a lot of one-on-one attacking. And it's all on their one-on-one attacking, not waiting for the man to stretch the play with the overlap, not playing the ball to the fullback down the wing for the cross or the 1-2. It's all on him. And we saw last season, Martinelli didn't get as much as a game. He wasn't as effective in games. Yeah. And now we're seeing that at Bukayo Saka because he hasn't got that player to overlap. He hasn't got that player to stretch or make their defender think. It's all there. And that, when you've got the player in front of you, yes, it's Bukayo Saka, but that's a lot easier for a defender than he has to look over his shoulder or he has to think, oh, is there another man I've got to run onto because he's going to pass the ball? He hasn't got to do that. He's so focused can I stop Saka from getting it past me? And 8 times out of 10, Saka's not. He's having to cut in and go down and cut into play and look for the 1-2s. We can't keep doing that. You can't do that every game.
No.
What score are you giving Martinelli?
Yeah, I thought it was a fault. Could have been fault for the goal as well. Giving away that corner or whatever because fell over. He does that a lot sometimes, trying to get the free kick. I'll give him a 6, but he's lucky. Lucky to get a 6.
6.
Tempted to give a 5, but I'll give him a 6.
Trossard started up front.
Did he play? I thought that was a massive mistake. You know, we know Trossard's good. He's not. I don't think he did anything, did he? I can't remember nothing he did, and I feel horrible because he's up until then. When we've seen him play, he's had some good cameo appearances as a sub. He was excellent in pre-season, but today he was just totally non-existent. Yeah, I give him a 5. I feel bad giving him a 4, but I just don't remember anything he did. You might be able to pick out something. I don't remember nothing. I don't remember him getting involved at all.
Nah, Trossard, Steve gives a 5 to Trossard. I can't say. I'd probably say about 5. To give him any lower, I would probably say that he was like overly poor. I just don't think the impact at all. I thought he was crowded out a lot. Fulham aren't playing with centre backs that want to run with the ball out of defence. So if you've got Leandro Trossard and you've only got him to defend against, that's easy for them. 2 defenders on Trossard, when he's got to hold up the ball, he's always going to have to drop in, get the ball, try and play it off, and they would keep it really tight. Once again, it didn't work. But again, I was actually surprised Eddie didn't start. I know he missed those 2 chances, but he won the penalty. I thought he had a pretty good game against Thingy as well, against Palace as well, to get those opportunities. Yes, it's frustrating. Won the penalty. I was actually surprised that he didn't start. So maybe Trossard may get an opportunity on the left, because maybe his style of play might suit this system if he wants to continue to play it. But I do, back to Martinelli quickly, there was a couple of times today where I thought he could have just knocked the ball past the fullback or knocked the ball past the centre back and just run into that space.
Yeah,
he's got pace, he's got power, and sometimes that option's on. Just rip him for pace, and hope he takes you down or something. So again, just me harping back on frustrations. So that's your starting 11. Eddie and Nketiah.
You said it 30 seconds ago. Why wasn't he starting? Why wasn't he starting? I know people keep going on about this one he missed against Crystal Palace. The guy scores goals. At the Emirates, this guy's prolific. He came on today, was a constant threat from the moment he walked on that pitch. The geezer is a goal scorer. He's a killer. You give him that ball in that front of that, 9 times out of 10, he's putting that ball in the back of the net. How people want him to leave or go or sell him, go and watch another sport, because I'm getting a little bit annoyed with it now. I was so happy winning. His strength, holding players off, moving out to the wings, getting good crosses in, all in a matter of like 2 minutes before he came on. I was like, this is what we've missed for the last however many minutes before he came on. We had none of that. All of a sudden, you've got this guy who's like wanting the ball, holding it up, pinging it off, not just pinging it back, pinging it off to the wings, starting up attacks.
Yeah.
Absolutely great little move he done with, I think it was Odegaard, got a really good cross in. I'm like, this is unreal. And then then he pops up in the box, cross from Vieira, bop in the back of the net.
So I think you said a few weeks back about Nketiah.
He's a killer.
You said I've got to stop every time Nketiah's quiet, saying, "Do you know what? Maybe he's not good enough. Maybe it's time to go on." You've got to start giving him some more respect. Yeah. And you're right, 100% right. We can't see Eddie have a below par game or miss an opportunity and go, "Do you know what? Nah, it's not good enough. Now he needs to go. We need to sell him."
Yeah.
Because when he does have these good games, when he comes on and has these cameo appearances, you can see why Arteta wants to play him and why he wants to keep him. Because
you've got to be blind not to.
He's been excellent when he's playing.
Yeah.
He's been really good. But it's those little things that we talk about where he's not quite clinical enough in times, which he needs to get better at. But we've got to praise him for the things he is doing right. And he came on and made such a big difference today. There for the finish again. Exactly what you're talking about when you think of Nketiah. Those sorts of finishes in the box at the right time. Killer finish, puts it in the back of the net.
Yeah.
Thought he made such a difference today. His link-up play's got so much better in the last couple of seasons.
Yeah.
He's not just a fox in the box kind of player. He's got more to his game now. He drops off, links up the play, drops in, plays in the wingers, looks to run on. He's improved so much, and I'm glad he stayed. His attitude's absolutely brilliant.
Do you know? I'll even go as far as and say if he starts every game this season, I think he could do it. I genuinely think he could push. If he can push, I don't think his ceiling's reached. I don't think his ceiling's nowhere near reached. This kid is like, do you know what it's like, Kieran? It's like out of sight, out of mind. Because we don't see him that much. Yeah. When we do see him, they're looking for a fault.
Yeah.
Oh, do you remember that fault that he did and he should have scored that goal? If I could do that about every single Arsenal player.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What about Saka today? Absolutely missed a sitter. Probably lost us the game.
Yeah, and
yeah. What about Saka with his pass back for the goal for the Fulham? Lost us the game.
Even the corner. Saka's asleep on that. It takes is Saka to follow his man. Declan Rice probably needs to take a little bit of fault in there as well. And if he didn't give Saka the shout, but they need to follow their man. All Saka needs to do there is put his foot out to block that man. Follows his man. That doesn't go in. If he's sharp, if that's a Saliba, if that's a Gabriel, and they're following that ball in, it's going to Pereira. Looks for the block. That block. Pereira had the width of 2 footballs to score that goal in, and there was no attempt to put any sort of block in.
Yeah, you're right.
Any attempt to put a block in, if anyone's following their man, that does not go in. That's just that's a nice bit of defending. Or you probably don't even notice it because it's just a shot in the box and it's blocked. It doesn't even get spoken about. But when you switch off, those things happen. And I'm not blaming Saka for that, but it's though he wasn't at it. He wasn't on the ball today. And that those little things in the game make a difference.
I feel sorry for Eddie today. I feel because he should have been coming off that pitch a game winner, and because of other people on the pitch, he's not. So just hope Arteta gives him his props, and I hope to see him start in the next game. But Eddie today, I mean, for me, he gets an 8. Gets an 8 out of 10 for me.
I think he comes on easily. The game.
Easily. And another thing, I mean, people saying go and buy another player, go and buy another striker. Can you really? I mean, people think, because they've got a big name, they play for a big club or they play for their country. I question whether someone could come in and do what he does and score the goals that he does. I genuinely do. Could Tony do it?
If Balogun plays like Eddie's played in his past 3 games, people are saying Balogun's looking class, scored 2 goals in 3 games, got the assist for the penalty, his link-up play's brilliant, but because it's Eddie Nketiah and he's not fashionable,
why is that?
You're not impressible.
Why is that? That's
because they've pinned all their hopes on Balogun. They've pinned all their hopes on this player who was looking good in the youth ranks, whereas Eddie was sitting for a few years now. And Eddie's been there since Wenger was there. So he's old hat. Do you know what I mean? That's what I think it is.
Would you start him against United then?
Yeah. Unless Gabriel Jesus is fully fit. but I wouldn't rush Jesus because, and I'd be definitely telling Jesus not to do flipping knee slides after that knee surgery again.
Yeah, but for me, the Kitty has got the bit between his teeth. I can see it. He's hungry.
I'd start him.
He's hungry, isn't he, though, Kieran? He's really hungry.
He started last season.
Huh?
He got a brace against United, didn't he, last season?
Yeah. He hasn't really tailed off, is he?
No.
And he's still smashing them in. He's, and then Jesus comes back in and Kitty goes out on the bench. But as soon as he gets his chance, he comes in and scores goals. Yeah.
Fabio Vieira, I thought I gave Fabio Vieira the man of the match before he before the equaliser, because I thought he was, even the little touches in the middle of the park, he just looked so much more confident this season. So he looked so much since he looked better in pre-season this season. He didn't have a pre-season last season, and I think you could tell the difference already. I thought he was absolutely outstanding when he came on.
I agree with you, mate. If this is the first time we're starting to see him at his best, isn't it? To be quite truthful, it could be because you said that it's taken me a while to get going because he didn't have a pre-season and obviously didn't get much game time. But today, you really see how good he is, didn't you? I mean, his touch was like, as soon as he come on, he was like, he had the bit between his teeth and he was hungry. Some of the turns, some of the movement, some of the passing was just again. And then Ketty was there as well, and they was linking up, the pair of them.
First, he won the penalty.
Yeah, when he won the penalty, when he got the penalty, he was my man in the match. That was it because of all of what he'd done before, what he was doing beforehand, and then what he did. Then he went and won the penalty. I was like, wow, what a cameo, what a substitute performance, absolutely outstanding. But then he done the cross, for the goal for Nketiah.
Yeah, lovely cross that was as well.
Beautiful cross, and then the overhead kick, right towards the end of the game. The technique of that, I know it was offside, but he obviously didn't know at the time. That was like incredible. Just shows what he's capable of. We're so pleased for him.
We can't not talk about that scissors kick.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah. That overhead kick. That scissors kick.
Sorry.
Yeah. That was just incredible technique, unbelievable. So let's just hope he excuse me, continues like it. Yeah. But man of the match, 9.
Right. Gabriel Jesus came on and
I think standard substitute 6s that didn't really do nothing, did they, when they come on?
Yeah, no, it was that was
5s or 6s.
By the time they came on, it was 2 at that point, and it was like sort of chasing stuff.
Zinchenko, wasn't it, as well?
Oh, Zinchenko. Yeah, sorry, Zinchenko.
Yeah, I mean, again, he was another one that obviously was quite, sort of changed the game at some point. So that he picked up the ball. Some of the balls he's moving into that. He's inverted left back.
Yeah.
As soon as he came on, he was moving into that midfield. Then everything was quicker, wasn't it? Balls. All of a sudden, he's playing the balls this time into Vieira. Vieira's doing his stuff. Blah blah blah. So he was very good, but obviously he was at fault. May have been fault for the goal when he but there was still a lot to go from there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There was a lot to happen before.
It's that sloppiness. It's that when
sloppy.
These are the players that you expect him to technically astute. Their decision makings. They're the decision makers in our team, the likes of Odegaard and Zinchenko. And when they lose the ball, that's why it's a little bit more frustrating. Because when they lose the ball, usually it's in a dangerous area because yeah, because that's the positions they play in. So it is frustrating because he did come on and change the game. He did do really well when he came on, and I think he needs to start in the next game when we.
100%.
I think he needs to start in the next game now that he looks like he's back to match fitness.
Yeah, 100%. Definitely needs to start. Yeah, I give him a. Give him a seven. Just substitute 7.
Zinchenko gets a 6-7.
6-7. It's because he gave the ball away. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
that eventually led to the goal. If it wasn't for that, it'd be a guaranteed 7. So it's a little bit.
And Mikel Arteta.
5.
Mikel Arteta gets a 5. Steve does not say much more than that.
I can't. Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you why he got 5. I just think he got it all. I just think he got it wrong. I think playing Trossard down the middle wasn't the right thing to do. Party again at right back just didn't work. Kivior at left back didn't work. But the substitutes he did well and brought them on at the right time and changed it round at half time and we got back into it. So yeah, it's sort of a game of two halves for Mikel Arteta, but I generally think he got it wrong, and I think he has to take the blame for the dropping 2 points today. I think he's one of the people, who's maybe more to blame than anyone else actually today. And I hate saying that, really hate saying that, but I think, looking at it, honestly, I think that's probably the way it went. So 5,
I think that's fair. I don't think saying that Mikel Arteta is to blame is overly harsh. He picked the team. The system was wrong. The lineup was wrong. And when you're going from there, that's a major factor in the result. And yes, he made the right substitutions, but we've got to sort out our mentality. That's another thing we need to kick in. We can't drop off in these games as soon as we get that goal. That's crazy to me. At that point, Fulham was under so much pressure. They were buckling under that pressure. Why do we need to just carry on? I'd be more frustrated. I'd be less frustrated if with 15 minutes to go of the game, that we lose it because we've dropped off completely and we've tried to sit in for 15, 20 minutes of the game. It's not 15, 20. It's 20, 25 minutes because of all the added time that goes on now. So it's 25 minutes. You can't, if there's 25 minutes on a normal clock, you're not seeing out the game for 25 minutes, passing back sideways. No way. No way. That's dangerous. That's far too much time. And we've got to stop doing that. We've got to stop doing that. We've got to go for the juggler. We've got to start being more ruthless. Keep going for those chances. We were all over Fulham at that point. Holes were being picked all over the place. And then all of a sudden we want to sit in and let the pressure come onto us. It just doesn't make sense.
It was just, again, it's sloppiness. They go down to 10 men. So you think, game management time. Do you know what I mean? Think about it. But three mistakes in succession. The Zinchenko giving the ball away. Then you had Martinelli trying to get a free kick, in down by the corner flag, and ended up coming unstuck and losing a corner. And Saka, may have been at fault for the marking for the goal. So we just let him through. So 3 silly, stupid mistakes from players who you would call sort of as starting, who comes out who you would expect to be on it every week, and players that you would be looking to, play out the game sensibly, totally made it an absolute cock up actually in the end, and lost us to 2 points. Can't happen. Can't happen again. Now it's, I know it's early in the season, but we've got to beat Man United. Do you know what I mean? It's a massive game there.
I did a video earlier, and I nearly said it as a joke that it's a must-win game, but it is, because it is. If you're talking about you want to be title contenders, Man City are sitting their first 2 games. They're Man City. They lost to Bruyne, doesn't matter. They put Foden in. I think too much emphasis was made on the fact that, like, City could be weaker, because even if a weaker City, it's still Man City. It's still got like, they've still got 2 teams near enough. Like, they've replaced those players now. They've been replaced. They've now brought in Jeremy Doku. They've got Kovacic, and they've got in Josko Gvardiol. So they've got they've replaced those players, and they've got an excellent team now. So City are not weaker. City have potentially made themselves stronger. So Arsenal have to do more than what they did last season to win the league, because in the end, City were able to drop off and won it quite comfortably in the end. So Arsenal have to do better than they did last season, and they can't be dropping points, and especially at home. Home needs to be a fortress. They need to make sure that, this is essentially a one-off, and they pulled themselves back together against a tougher team in Man United.
Yeah. I'm just, I worry sometimes if Arteta's, I can see what he wants to do, and if it works, then great. But maybe he's trying to copy Pep and Man City too much. Maybe we haven't got the personnel yet to do that. Like Man City do. I don't know, mate.
I definitely think he's overthinking it. He is overthinking it. I think he's forgotten how good we were last season and in the setup we have. I think there are games where we can play this formation. There are games when we can play games where we need to be tighter and we need to be more defensive. And we can play the double pivot with Declan Rice and Thomas Partey instead of playing the Kai Havertz. But right now, we don't need to be doing that. We don't need to be. And the craziest thing, we didn't play this formation and this setup in pre-season. I think in one game we did, in like little bits, but we didn't play it 2 inverted fullbacks in pre-season. We always played with 1. So I don't understand.
Yeah. One thing I will. Yeah, sorry, mate. One thing I will say is just that we haven't. Timber's injured. That's that's a massive loss for us. Yeah. And I think we need to go back into the transfer market to get another player, and maybe that's why Tierney's gone out. I don't know. Maybe we're going to be bringing in a right back, because I think we might need a right back now.
I did think that if we're sending Tierney out, we've got to bring someone in now.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sure we have. We've got to look at, bringing in a right back. So I think maybe on this system, as much as we've just sort of thinking we're a bit worried about it now, I think, we still haven't had our full team out to see how it works with the players that probably Arteta wants in those positions. Like, we haven't seen Zinchenko, have we?
No.
And we haven't seen Timber. Timber would be on the right, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
And Zinchenko would be on the left. That would be the plan. And Partey is probably wouldn't be starting. I don't think he's in Arteta's plans to start him is in his main 11. It don't make sense. It does not make sense. Timber on that right hand side would certainly give you more going forward, wouldn't he? He'd be doing similar to what Ben White and some, hopefully. Yeah. So, but the trouble is, we're not going to see a Timber. So really, we need another Timber, another right back to come in, to replace Timber, who can do that job. Who I don't know, but I generally think, if we're going to want to push City, we're going to need to, So maybe let's wait till Jesus is back, wait till Zinchenko's back. Then maybe if we get a proper right back, and then we don't have to play Kior out on the left, and we don't have to play Party out on the right, and we look a bit more, secure, together. And but it's until then, we need to go back to the back four.
Yeah. Quickly before we go, I've only just joined, but the whole thing of Arteta trying to fix what's not broken is doing my head in. 1-2 player changes in the game is okay, but changing players in their positions weekly is crazy. Same back four as last season: Rice, Party, Odegaard in the middle, Saka and Martinelli. Any striker up top worked last season; it will work again. Graham says Timber is a big loss. Exactly, last season the setup. And if we need more defensive play, Kyriar over Zinni, and that's what I mean. This is when you're talking about if you want to tighten it up and you want defensively, Kyriar can play as a left back. He can't play as an inverted fullback who has to now move into midfield. That's not his game. So where you saw him today was a bit lost. You saw him a bit all over the place, just trying to maybe make up and win tackles and stuff like that. But he plays at left back for Poland. He was playing at left back for Poland in the World Cup. He's got good feet. He can get forward. He can play there. But not to ask him to invert. The craziest thing is Arteta in a press conference said the other day, I don't want to force players to play in positions that they can't play, that's not natural to them. So to watch him do it week in, week out is madness. Quickly, he clearly wants inverted fullbacks. Zinchenko literally owns that role. Ben White is the elite as his classic right back role, and he gets the most out of our midfield. I agree, which is quite surprising to me because that's what we thought would have with Tierney on the left-hand side as an option to have a classic left back, but we don't have that. We don't have that now. So if he wants to play the inverted fullback, then I believe he can't play two inverted players because then you're just messing up the whole setup. You've got to have balance. And if when you have Ben White as that right back and Zinchenko inverts, you've now got the three at the back. So you've got three centre backs, and that's what Ben White was doing. Or it was bombing up and down and giving Saka an option, giving Saka support. They don't have that now. Our only problem last season was depth. So that's the only change that would be keep the same team and set up and utilise the depth. 100% agree. I don't think we had the team to fully sustain the challenge towards the end of the season, which is why players like Saka dropped off, players like Partey dropped off. These players dropped off. We relied on them big time in the first half of the season, and no Saliba. We've now brought in players that can fill in those positions, and what we do, we completely changes the system.
It's okay changing the system if you've got the right players to play in the system.
Yeah.
The simple thing today, we didn't have the right players to play in that system. We should have played at four at the back, right? We should have played with White, Saliba, Gabriel, and didn't really. You should, if Zinchenko was fit, and maybe we would have had to have paid Kyriar out there, but he would have been a lot better because he would have been playing in the back four. You know, and he would have had Gabriel next to him. We play that we play that today. We win a football match.
Yeah,
Arteta's got got it wrong today, and we've lost the football match because of it. And Gabriel didn't even get on the pitch today again.
Yeah,
which is worrying.
It's frustrating because he's one of our leaders.
He's obviously got something in his. But again, we've mentioned it. We've mentioned it a lot. When they play that back three, I've said it last week in the Arsenal show, and I say it again.
He don't play.
He doesn't play. Whether that's my choice or other people got other opinions, Arteta don't fancy him as that left-sided back on that left-hand side. Simple.
Yeah. That is all we have time for. You can tell it's been a frustrating game. We've got an hour and 10 minutes longer than a normal show on a Tuesday for a post-match reaction. Wow. And Steve's still got plenty to say on Tuesday, so make sure you join us at 8:00 to discuss this game. I don't believe we're probably going to be talking about anything but this game and the system in general. Frustrating game for Arsenal. 2-2 draw for Fulham. And look, we have to give Fulham their props. They were very good defensively. Their structure, they kept going And I think they played really, really well. The same threats as they always have. Dick Cordoba-Reid is a very good player. Always impresses me every time I see him play. João Paulinho was absolutely brilliant today in the midfield. So maybe not £100 million player that Fulham were talking about, but you can see why they wanted to do everything they could to hold on to him. Because he makes everything tick, and I thought, defensively they were excellent today. So
can he play very fullback?
Paulina.
Yeah,
expensive. They were talking about 80 million, weren't they? But that is all we had time for. Thanks for joining us. Make sure you press that like and subscribe, people. Thanks for getting in the comment section. Peace out, people. Stay safe and wash your hands.